Greetings everyone. I'm recording this second and welcome to a video that I did not expect to make, but I just cannot help myself. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. That includes real life gore, which, just to clarify, I did not look that stuff up on purpose. I only saw it by accident. And let me tell you, some people would say sometimes it's just a bad trailer, because the opposite is often true. There's a bad movie but the trailer is good. But I did not like a single thing in this trailer. Not a single shot, not a single second of this trailer was enjoyable to me. And I feel like if you're at that point that the movie is just beyond any hope or salvaging, there's absolutely no way this project can be turned around. And I know people talk about the Sonic movie and the way they quote-unquote fixed that. Well, first of all, that movie was not amazing by any means. Well, sure, they fixed the Sonic design, but that's really it. The rest of the movie stayed basically the same, and it wasn't that amazing at all. I'm sorry, Sonic fans, but you gotta admit that movie was not high art or anything like that. But in this movie, it's not about the design of the sheep, for example. It's not like they can just change the sheep design and the movie is fixed. Everything about this movie is absolutely wrong. The entire approach to the project, and obviously it's woven into the story, having real life people land in the Minecraft universe and walk around the environment, it just looks terrible. It's very badly realized. There's no way to fix this. And the entire premise of the story is really stupid. There are these really bad looking characters who end up in the Minecraft world, and Steve isn't even the main character. So yeah, this video is more of a rant. I'm not really going to edit much because I don't have time for it, and I want this video to be up, not long after the trailer, because I want my thoughts to be heard by someone. But I just want to urge you guys to not watch this movie, or at the very least find a way to do it without paying for it, because this does not deserve your money at all. This is terrible. This is the exact thing you would imagine if someone told you Hollywood slop. Like, this is literally the definition of terrible CGI overdone Hollywood slop with no care for the source material, because like I said, Steve isn't even the main character. If I was doing a Minecraft movie, call me crazy, but I would make Steve the main character. In this movie, he seems to be like a mentor character, like Obi-Wan Kenobi in the first Star Wars movie. It makes absolutely no sense to do that. In fact, I think the best approach to a Minecraft movie would not just to be fully animated with no live action or realistic elements at all, but also to not have any of the characters speak. I know this might sound crazy, but there have been some movies where all the characters are mute. For example, the Shaun the Sheep movies, if I'm not saying it wrong, and they're perfectly fine. They can do physical comedy and they can have charming animation and designs. This is exactly what the Minecraft movie needed to be. At the very least, you can give us something that they already do for trailers anyway. Just give us that. What was the point of making this live action? It looks terrible, and it legitimately cost them way more money to do this than it would to just make a straight up animated movie. And in fact, this movie is only barely quote-unquote live action anyways. It's all mostly animated too, so it's not even like the distinction itself matters that much. Well, we all know why they did it this way, because they wanted to shove celebrities in this movie. And that's another thing about it that sucks, is that this movie has a terrible cast. I don't know who this lady is, but she looks completely out of place. She's clearly just phoning her performance in. And there's also Jason Momoa, which, he's acting. He doesn't look like his typical badass persona, which I guess is interesting, but it only works in the context of you knowing who Jason Momoa is as an actor, what usually roles he takes. Otherwise, it doesn't work. His costume looks absolutely fucking terrible. His hair looks stupid. All these characters look bad. Like, the costume design in this movie is really bad. That is something I did not expect to say about the Minecraft movie of all things. They couldn't even get the costumes right. And look at Steve. He does not look like Steve at all. When Jason Momoa was first announced to be in this movie, we all expected him to be Steve, which was not a good decision, but holy fuck is it better than what we actually got, because Jason Momoa is actually jacked and he looks way more like Steve would look. If you just gave him the right haircut, it would not be the worst choice. What we got instead was Jack Black. He looks nothing like Steve. They didn't even try. They didn't even give a fuck about this movie or making it any way accurate to the games at all. First of all, Steve is much more darker skinned than most portrayals of him in like merchandise or especially this movie. But fine, whatever. I guess I'm not really that concerned about race swapping in most occasions. Like, I really don't care. But in this case, that's just one problem. layer on top of it the fact that he's built nothing like Steve, because just think about it. Even if you say in theory this is the Steve that conquered his world, he's got farms, he's got everything, but the Minecraft world still requires a shit ton of movement, and it doesn't really have that much opportunity for leisure. There's no TikTok for you to watch in the Minecraft world, so what are you gonna do? Well, you're gonna do something that actually requires physical activity. And like, no offense to any overweight people, but this just doesn't make sense in the world of Minecraft. You're constantly fighting monsters, jumping, running around, collecting resources. Jack Black does not work for this role. He did not get jacked, or okay fine, I guess he didn't need to be like jacked, but at least he didn't need to be like this short fat dude. It just doesn't fit this character and this world. It makes it not believable. I cannot see the fact that Jack Black is Steve. He looks nothing like Steve would look like in that situation. He doesn't even resemble the character design, and if that wasn't bad enough, his costume also sucks. So that's just the beginning. Honestly, I can go on and on because the more I watch this trailer, the more I hate it. Think about this for a second. This trailer does not use any Minecraft music. The Minecraft movie trailer has no Minecraft music in it. How is that not the worst thing possible? This is such a red flag. Minecraft has some of the most iconic and recognizable music in gaming history. Fuck it, all of history. It is beyond iconic, and it's not just something that people are familiar with, it is actually great. Minecraft music is great. Just look up on YouTube this guy, I think his name is Andreas or something like that, I'm not sure, but he makes these covers of Minecraft songs, an epic film orchestral Hans Zimmer type version. This is what they should have put in the Minecraft trailer. I get that that's kind of cliche and that a shit ton of trailers have already done that, like epicify, if that's even the word, some classic piece of IP music, but it was just the right call for this. Instead, this is some random Beatles song? What? Literally, all they had to do is take Sweden and make it more cinematic. That's all they had to do. It was so easy. It was like right there, and they didn't even do that. It just really tells you how little of a shit they give about this fucking property that they're adapting, that they didn't even think to use the Minecraft music that everyone knows and loves for the trailer of the Minecraft movie. How is that reality we live in? This is terrible. I didn't even get into the designs of the creatures really that much, because holy fuck are they terrible, especially the sheep. It literally looks like if you typed into an AI image generator prompt, make me a realistic Minecraft sheep. That is literally exactly what that would look like, and it's in this fucking movie. It looks terrible. They could have done two things. First of all, which is the worst option of the two, they could have just made it all real life. It would not be blocky. The trees, the animals, the people, they would all look normal. And that's honestly better than what we got. But there's the second option, which is the obvious good option, is to make everything look like it should look in Minecraft. AKA just make the movie fucking animated. How hard can it be? And they actually went for the worst option of the three, because the third option apparently is to try to meet somewhere in the middle and make this uncanny valley nightmare, terrible, creepy designs, because Minecraft is a family-friendly game. I understand that the piglins and the ghasts might look disturbing. That doesn't bother me as much as the sheep, because the sheep is supposed to be cute. Like, it's derpy, but it's not supposed to be terrifying and ugly. It's not supposed to be this absolute abomination. Have movies not learned this lesson already with the Lion King reboot and all that other fucking trash they keep making? And no one liked this at all. This doesn't look good. To try to make something cartoony, inherently cartoony, like Minecraft, look realistic, it doesn't work. The reason why people liked some of that art is because it looked grotesque. It looked kind of cool, but the Minecraft movie should not look like this. The Minecraft movie should look like the game, or at least a higher fidelity version of it. I understand if the Minecraft movie was just Minecraft, but with maybe more detailed textures, maybe like a 64 by 64 texture pack. Even though I wouldn't really like it that much, at least there would be some kind of logic behind that creative decision. Or you can make it look like more Minecraft, but like with better fidelity, with more accurate textures, with better lighting. So even like above what we get for the trailers for the actual Minecraft updates. And it probably would not look nearly as bad as this. And this is not just the animal design, it's the whole world. Just those wide shots of the Minecraft universe, they looked like AI. And I'm not telling you that this is AI. I don't think this is AI, but it looks like AI. And that's already bad enough. because this movie, I know a lot of people worked really hard on the visuals, and actually I want to make this really clear. I don't blame any of the artists, actual computer animators who work their asses off on these terrible movies for very little money, and they get treated like shit. We all know that by this point, and I'm not blaming them at all. Who I am blaming is the people way higher in the food chain who all make these terrible decisions, because this must have been the director or the producer or the studio who approved this look for the movie. It just looks like fucking dog shit. I'm sorry. I don't even understand why I need to explain this, but I've actually gotten into arguments with people over this. Like, do you not have eyes? Just look at it. And they ask me, what's so bad about it? What looks so bad? Just fucking look at it. It looks terrible. And I think everyone owes Ant-Man Quantumania an apology, because people said when that movie came out that it looked like a CGI overload, way too many green screens, and it just looked fake. I saw the movie. I did not really feel that way, although there were some bad effects in the movie, don't get me wrong. And I'm not trying to glaze the MCU too much here, but compared to what this movie looks like, Ant-Man Quantumania is a masterpiece. Legitimately, it looks so much better than this trailer already does. Actually, watch the trailer and pause at those white shots and tell me that does not look like AI, because it does. It does have that glossy, overly lit, yellowish bright look to it. And it has all those shadows and the blockiness, which just looks like AI. When you actually see the Minecraft world, it doesn't look like these smaller blocks combined into bigger chunks of blocks, the way that they did on that like mesa thing that they had in the beginning of the trailer. It looks much more natural, especially now. But in this trailer, the Minecraft world, it looks AI generated, just with more detail. And that actually makes it worse, because the sheep has those like creepy, realistic looking teeth, when the rest of the sheep is this illogical shape. It's just terrible. It's just uncanny valley, and it sucks. And it clearly is a decision that came from the higher ups. Okay, let's get back to the cast for a second, because we can tell that this movie clearly picked actors because they were famous, not because they were good actors. So first of all, I think you have some pandering here. You have two adult characters and you have two children, which obviously is just to appeal to kids in the audience. And you have Jack Black. People like Jack Black, and don't get me wrong, I actually like Jack Black as well. I think he's funny. He is just not Steve. And I already talked about this earlier in the video. He doesn't look like him. He doesn't feel like him in any way. He does not work for this character. Even Jason Momoa would have been way better for Steve than what they actually went with. And it just does not feel like anyone involved with the movie gave a fuck about adapting the source material with any kind of care or respect at all. Because if they did, they wouldn't just cast actors because they were famous, because this movie is literally about the biggest game ever. This movie was gonna succeed automatically. There's no point in spending hundreds of millions of dollars on it to make it look worse. They did not have to spend that much money. They did not have to get A-list actors or actor celebrities to be in this movie. There was no chance that this movie would fail. The Minecraft brand is just way too big for this kind of movie to fail. It's gonna make a shit zillion dollars. We already know that. We did not need A-list celebrity actors in this movie just because they're famous. It's not like they had to sell this movie because it's some kind of new IP that's unheard of. It's exactly the opposite. What they should have done is do the same thing as the FNAF movie. Scale it back, not overload it with overly expensive animation. Just make it a good fucking movie that does not look terrible, and cast people who actually fit the roles, especially for Steve, instead of getting these expensive celebrity actors. But of course, this movie is literally the example of the worst that Hollywood does, because I mean, this movie has everything: terrible design, no respect to source material, overly expensive, overinflated budget, a shit ton of green screen, animation and effects that are just overloaded everywhere. They look bad. This movie is just an example of how not to make a Hollywood film, because it contains everything that we as an audience hate and complain about these movies over and over again, because they keep doing this shit. I'm not saying that Hollywood is like terrible by default. Literally, most movies all of us watch are made in Hollywood. Okay, there's a lot of good ones. You don't even need to go that far. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is a blockbuster film with tons of CGI, which was quite expensive, but the movie looked great. It was a good film, which is something that you cannot tell from this trailer, because I already mentioned this. People say, oh, it's just a trailer. But guys, they put the best stuff in the trailers. If this is the best they got, can you even imagine how terrible the rest of the movie is? They put the best shots in the trailers. This is the best they have. Just think about this. Can you even fathom how terrible the rest of it is, if this is what they're willing to show you. Every single shot looks like every actor was in front of a green screen the entire time. None of the shots were convincing. The characters never looked like they're actually in the environment that they're supposed to be in. Saying that, oh, it's just a trailer, they can fix it, is pure copium. But anyways, just to get back to my broader point on Hollywood, obviously, a movie isn't bad automatically just because it's made in Hollywood, just as an indie movie isn't automatically good if it's an indie movie. I'm not a movie snob. In fact, I like the MCU. Honestly, even Quantumania I enjoyed. So let me tell you, I do not have super mega high standards to judge this movie by, but every single thing I've seen about it looked absolutely terrible. To return to the animal design, the creeper looks nothing like what the creeper should look like. We all know the creeper would feel crunchy. Even the developers have confirmed that this is the case, and the creeper itself just looks like a roughly textured mob. Like it has this rough skin or wherever it's supposed to be. The original creeper texture is even made from the leaf texture. So making it fluffy, it just shows that no one involved in this movie gave a fuck about accuracy or fuck even just adapting it well, because look at the creeper. It looks nothing like something that would be fluffy and soft. It is just beyond lazy. It looks really bad and it's not even remotely accurate, which I need to explain that obviously we don't exactly know what the creeper is made of or what it's supposed to be technically. There's lots of theories, but at least we know that this is not a good way to adapt the creeper. It feels like they just slapped the same type of texture on it that they used on the llama, and all of the mobs in this movie, almost, except for the piglins and the ghasts, look kind of the same. They have the same weirdly hairy texture to them, and it's extremely uncreative. So yes, like I was saying before, not only does the world itself look terrible and ugly and AI generated, but the characters do not fit the environment in any scene. They always look like they were in front of green screen because they're awkwardly standing around or moving around. This movie has like almost no direction and no sense of style, just judging from this trailer, because all the shots are generic. You have these slow pans, you have these static shots, and they're nothing interesting. They're absolutely the most boring direction you can have for a movie. It just looks boring to watch. It doesn't have any flavor. It doesn't have any style to it. It just looks generic. That's why it looks like AI. It has like that generic sloppy feeling when it's just a bunch of shit mixed together with no real cohesive vision for it. That applies to almost every aspect of this movie. The actor scale looks wrong. They look just awkwardly placed into the scene, obviously, because that's literally what happened. The lighting doesn't really match them. Their realistic appearance doesn't match the cartoony, unrealistic world, because ironically, when trying to make the Minecraft world look more realistic, they just made it look more fake. If you just had everything consistently depicted in the movie, the characters, the humans, the mobs, the environment, it would all feel much more real, even though it's animated, more real to the audience. Because when you juxtapose the real life humans with those obviously CGI environments and creatures, that just shows you how fake they are. This is just a really bad idea. This entire movie is just a fucking waste of time and money, and it's disgusting. Okay, so back to my point that this movie is not accurate to the lore, and I know some people gotta laugh this off like how Minecraft has no lore, but actually Minecraft has a shit ton of lore. It's just extremely cryptic. Like there's no events that we know clearly of. We can just only guess based on stuff that developers said in some tweets, or stuff that was in the Minecraft website, or stuff that's actually in the game, stuff like names of advancements and items. They actually inform us a little bit about the world. They give us very little to work with. But that's just one example, because there's also stuff like the Mobestiary, which is a canon book as far as I know, that actually also talks about Minecraft mobs and explains the lore behind them. Minecraft has lore. It might not have a complete concrete story you can look at, but Minecraft as the world, as a universe, with all the creatures in it, they have a history, and that is a fact. So when you look at stuff like the Piglins in this movie, they do not zombify in the overworld. In case you haven't played the game for some reason, why are you watching this video? But anyways, in case you don't know, Piglins in the game, if they exit the nether, which is their dimension where they live, which I'm actually not sure if it's their home dimension, I think it's implied that they did not originate in the nether, because they actually are not immune to fire, unlike most creatures in the nether. So that's what I mean when I say that there is actual lore in the game. But anyways, back to my point. The Piglins, at least for most of Minecraft history, were inhabiting the nether. And they kind of, at least if it wasn't originally their home, they made it their home. The game mechanics in actual Minecraft do not allow Piglins to leave the nether dimension, because if they do, they will instantly zombify. And this just doesn't work only in the overworld, this works in the end as well, which I know this was more of a balancing issue because building farms in other dimensions is more convenient. They wanted you to be challenged as a player, so you cannot just easily farm Piglins. But that's besides the point. This is now in the game, this is now canon and part of the lore. The Piglins cannot survive, or at least they will not stay the same outside of the nether, they will zombify. So I'm sure this movie might have some kind of explanation for it, but if it doesn't, which is also likely, just imagine this movie is completely not accurate to the games at all. We can see multiple shots in this trailer where the piglins are just chilling in the overworld like nothing is happening. There's also some lore in the Minecraft universe. There's a way for piglins to stay in the overworld without zombifying, but that requires terraforming the planet or using the warped fungus, which we see in Minecraft dungeons. And none of those things are seen in the trailer. So I assume they were just fucking lazy and they didn't adapt the lore or care to explain this and just, you know, disregarded what it's supposed to be. And honestly, when people nitpick stuff like that in movies or shows, like I remember when the Fallout show came out, people complained that it's not accurate to the lore. I feel like it's kind of annoying. Even the FNAF movie was not accurate to the lore 100%. Some of it was like not the same, but I don't really think it matters too much. But this is just one thing in this big list of problems that this movie has. This is just another instance of the movie not being accurate to the games, not portraying the games right, not treating them with respect, not representing and adapting the game faithfully. So it's not a major point on its own, but combined with everything else, it just shows the utter lack of care when it came to making a Minecraft movie. And that's another point I wanted to mention. Some people were coping by saying, well, it's okay if it doesn't look like the Minecraft movie because it's not called the Minecraft movie, it's called a Minecraft movie. Which, first of all, holy shit, that is some insane copium right there. I mean, that is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. Who cares about the semantics of either it's the or a Minecraft movie? By all intents and purposes, this is the Minecraft movie, or at least the first one. That is just so stupid. I don't even feel like there's any point in engaging in that kind of argument. It legitimately feels like trolling, because if anyone actually thinks that, you might need to get your brain checked. Because, come on guys, really? It's a Minecraft movie, that's not the Minecraft movie, so it's fine if it sucks. So anyways, we glossed over that part. I just wanted to briefly mention it because I was just dumbfounded when people brought this up, seemingly unironically, which I'm still hoping or maybe coping that people were just trying to troll me, because I cannot fathom that a human being would actually be so stupid as to say something like that. Anyways, I know this video was just kind of a long rant and I'm sorry about that, but it was really hard to organize my thoughts because, like I said, literally everything in this trailer looked bad, and this movie was looking bad even way before we saw this trailer. When it was announced that Jack Black and Jason Momoa were cast, I already knew this was going to be a cash grab, but holy fuck, I did not expect it to be nearly this bad. I've even seen the leaks of the mob designs, but seeing them in motion is a whole other fucking thing. Like, they looked bad already, but in motion they're even worse. And we also didn't really see any of the world itself, which, like I said, it looks really fake and it looks like AI. So I hope you guys enjoyed this rant. Maybe you also hate this trailer and you kind of just wanted to hear someone rant about it as well. You just need to have eyes to see how terrible this is. But legitimately, some people out there are coping, or I would even say shilling. I feel like Mambo and DanTDM, because they went to see the filming of the movie, because they were on set and obviously they had cameos, because I mean, obviously, why would they bring these huge YouTubers and not give them cameo? Obviously they're gonna have cameos in the movie, and I want you guys to not fall for cheap fan service like this. It is cheap, it is easy, it's easy brownie points, and you should not celebrate this movie just because it has cameos. You cannot salvage this. You have to completely restart from scratch if you want to make a good Minecraft film, or maybe just not make a Minecraft film, because it's really hard to make a story in that universe that would work as a 3-act Hollywood blockbuster film. Maybe just don't do that. Maybe just have the brain to not. But obviously they're gonna just keep going with this because this movie's gonna make $1 billion anyways. But just to go back to the point about the YouTubers, I watched their videos and honestly, I like Dan and Mambo, especially Mambo, actually like his videos. My respect for them has dropped significantly because the excuses they were making for this movie, they literally made no sense. I mean, DanTDM literally said that Jack Black was perfect casting for Steve. There's lying to your audience, and then there's this. Jack Black is not perfect casting for Steve, and you know that. Like, why are you lying with a straight face? I know these guys wanted to exercise some, you know, basic decency and not shit on the people who let them see the set, and maybe they've seen the people actually working on the movie. Again, let me get this right. Obviously, there are people who actually are passionate about the movie, working on the movie. It just doesn't come across that way because of the terrible decisions made by the higher-ups. That being said, you cannot let those positive experiences on set to cloud your judgment to this degree. This is terrible. You just need eyes and a brain to see that this trailer looks like fucking dog shit, and the excuses they were making for this movie left me speechless. They made no sense. There is no way these grown adult men with a sense of self-respect and taste could look at this trailer and call it fun and good. They obviously were paid to say this, and that's what I'm telling you guys. Do not fall for this marketing shit. Do not fall for influencers cameoing in movies or saying they're great when obviously they're not, or that Jack Black is somehow perfect casting for Steve. That is one of the most ridiculous lies I have heard in my entire life. Any enjoyment I've could have had from the snapshot that released, which was pretty good actually, at least on the technical side of Minecraft, was nullified by how terrible this movie looked, and there's no salvaging this. So, like I said before, do not pay for this movie. Do not give them any money. In fact, fucking protest against this movie. This is terrible. Minecraft is my favorite game, and I'm sure a lot of you guys would also say that it's your favorite game, or at the very least it's a game that means something to you, right? This is a bastardization of our favorite game. This is a fucking abomination. There's clearly no respect given to this property at all, to this thing that we love. It's being treated like garbage. It's being turned into this mush of AI-ish Hollywood CGI slop, and we should all protest against this. Hashtag CancelMinecraftMovie. I know they're not gonna cancel the movie, that's not the point. The point of the hashtag is to show how much we hate this trash and how much we want them to not do something like this ever again. So guys, use that hashtag if you want, or I don't know, just speak about how bad this movie is. Tell the people you know in your life to not go pay for this movie, to not watch this, and actually to boycott it any chance you get, because we cannot let them get away with absolutely bastardizing our favorite game. This has to stop. Hollywood has to stop making this fucking slop, because we know they can do better. We know they can do better. The FNAF movie was not great, but holy fuck, this movie makes FNAF look like Citizen Kane. The Mario movie was not great either, but at least it was fully animated. It didn't have these terrible uncanny valley designs for iconic Mario characters. This movie is the epitome of everything wrong with Hollywood, and we should protest it any chance we get. So that's the message of this video. I know it's too long, but I just had to get my feelings out and my thoughts out, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I probably will not be talking about this movie ever again, but I do cover Minecraft on my channel quite a lot. I actually make Minecraft data packs if this is the first time you're seeing my channel, so check them out. I do a lot of cool stuff, and yeah, don't forget to smash subscribe, ring my bell, and as always, stay